You sit down and a sharp, familiar twinge of pain shoots through your body. Immediately, you shift around, trying to find a position that doesn't feel like punishment. You've tried everything, haven't you? You've listened to the advice everyone gives. Eat more fiber. So you filled your plate with salads, ate whole-grain bread until you were tired of it, maybe even forced down some dry, hard-to-swallow bran. And, to your immense frustration, the pain is still there. The bleeding, the bloating, that awful feeling that something is out of place. What if I told you that this advice, just eat more fiber, is dangerously incomplete? What if, in your search for relief, the way you've been thinking about the solution could actually be ignoring the root cause of your suffering? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm not just going to list foods. I'm going to reveal the 3 strategically powerful foods that attack hemorrhoids on fronts you've probably never considered. We'll talk about how to strengthen your veins from the inside out, how to optimize your digestion so that straining becomes a distant memory, and finally, how to create the right kind of bowel traffic that not only relieves but also soothes and protects the inflamed area. This isn't just another video with generic tips. This is the conversation you should have had a long time ago, a conversation that focuses on the real cause of your pain when sitting. I know what that cycle is like. The anxiety before going to the bathroom. The mental calculation of where and when you'll need to sit for longer. That silent fear that a simple trip to a restaurant with friends will turn into torture. It's a pain that isolates you. It steals your peace, your spontaneity, and your confidence. Often people suffer in silence out of embarrassment, believing it is a minor problem or something they should just put up with. But the truth is that this condition is a sign, a cry for help from your body, indicating that there is a deep imbalance that needs to be corrected. The good news is that the fix can start on your plate in a much smarter and more effective way than you might think. And the first food I'm going to reveal, which will be number 3 in our countdown, acts in a way that almost no one directly associates with hemorrhoid relief. But in my decades of experience, it is absolutely essential. It doesn't work in your gut, it works in your veins. And understanding this will completely change the way you view your own healing. So take a deep breath. The clarity you seek is about to begin. I see you not as a spectator, but as a patient in my office. And my only mission here is to guide you out of this suffering with knowledge, empathy, and a clear plan. What we are looking for is not a temporary fix. It is a lasting solution. And to do that, we need to stop thinking of hemorrhoids as just a digestive or straining problem. That is only part of the story. Hemorrhoids at their core are a vascular problem. They are veins, hemorrhoidal veins, that have become dilated, inflamed, and weakened. Imagine the veins in your body as a vast network of garden hoses. When these hoses are strong and elastic, they carry blood without any problems. But if the walls of these hoses become fragile, thin, and lose their elasticity, any increase in pressure causes them to swell, deform, and even leak. This is exactly what happens in the anal region. The pressure of sitting for long periods of time, straining to have a bowel movement, pregnancy, even chronic coughing all increase the pressure on these already vulnerable veins. So the advice to eat more fiber only addresses one of the pressure factors, straining to have a bowel movement. But it does absolutely nothing to fix the weakened hose. It's like trying to fix a leaky pipe by turning down the water pressure instead of repairing the pipe itself. Does that make sense? You need to strengthen the walls of those veins. And that's where our number 3 food comes in. If you've ever felt frustrated about doing everything right with fiber and still not seeing results, it's probably because this crucial piece of the puzzle was missing. And by understanding this, you're already ahead of 90% of people who suffer from this condition. If you felt this frustration and are ready to understand the real science behind relief, do yourself and our channel a favor. Click the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Every video we create is a step toward your freedom and understanding, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. The third food, or rather, food family, is dark, intensely colored fruits, specifically blueberries and blackberries. And the reason isn't the fiber they contain, although that helps. The real magic lies in pigments called anthocyanins, which belong to a larger class of compounds called flavonoids. These names may sound technical, but their function is incredibly simple and powerful. Anthocyanins are some of the most potent blood vessel strengtheners that nature offers. They act like a repair crew for your veins. They help strengthen collagen, which is the protein that acts as the cement or mortar that holds the cells of the vein walls together and strong. When collagen is weak, the vein walls become loose and prone to swelling. By consuming these compounds, you are literally rebuilding and reinforcing the structural integrity of your hemorrhoidal veins from the inside out. Returning to our analogy, it's like taking that old, dried-out garden hose and applying a treatment that makes it flexible, strong, and leak-resistant again. In addition, these compounds are powerful anti-inflammatories, helping to reduce the swelling and pain you feel. So every handful of blueberries or blackberries you eat is an active step toward calming inflammation and strengthening the failing structure. I remember a patient, let's call her Sophia, a graphic designer who, by profession, spent 8 to 10 hours a day sitting down. She came to my office desperate. She told me, "Doctor, I eat huge salads for lunch every day. I drink lots of water. But the pain and bleeding won't stop. I'm afraid to sit in my own work chair." Her diet was high in insoluble fiber, the broomstick type of fiber, but it lacked the vascular repair component. I instructed her to make a simple change. Add a small container of blueberries or blackberries to her breakfast or as an afternoon snack. Just a handful, every day. 2 weeks later, she returned for a follow-up appointment. The change in her expression was remarkable. She said, "For the first time in months, I was able to sit through a long meeting without having to move every 5 minutes. The feeling of constant pressure has decreased." She hadn't stopped eating fiber, but she had added the missing piece: vascular strengthening. This illustrates a critical point. Healing rarely comes from a single action, but from intelligent synergy. The practical application is simple. Ideally, consume about 1 cup of these fruits per day. Both fresh and frozen are excellent. In fact, frozen fruits often retain their nutrients even more effectively. You can add them to plain yogurt, a bowl of oatmeal, or simply eat them on their own. The important thing is consistency. It's a daily habit that, over time, rebuilds the resilience of your vascular system. It's not an overnight fix, but a structural cure. And now that we understand how to strengthen the pipe, let's move on to the next level, ensuring that what passes through that pipe is as smooth and irritant-free as possible. That brings us to our number 2 food. Does this make sense to you? Had you ever thought that the solution to a problem down there could be in the color of the fruit you eat? Let me know in the comments. What's the most surprising thing you've ever tried to relieve your hemorrhoids? Your story matters and can help someone else who is reading and feeling alone on this journey. Our number 2 food in the countdown to relief is papaya, or papaya, as it is known in many parts of the world. And here, again, we are going beyond the simple idea of fiber. Papaya contains a secret weapon, a powerful digestive enzyme called papain. To understand why this is so crucial, let's use another analogy. Think of your digestive system as a sophisticated industrial assembly line. Food enters and needs to be broken down, processed, and transformed into smaller components so that the body can absorb the nutrients and discard what it doesn't need. Proteins, in particular, are like complex, robust materials on this assembly line. If the machine responsible for breaking down proteins isn't working efficiently, large, poorly processed pieces reach the end of the line. This creates a denser, more cohesive waste that is more difficult to expel. The result? you have to push harder. And that force is exactly the pressure that inflames and aggravates your already weakened hemorrhoidal veins. Papain is like a highly efficient, expert quality manager on this assembly line. It is a proteolytic enzyme, which means its specific function is to break down protein molecules. By consuming papaya, especially shortly before or with a protein-rich meal, you are introducing a reinforcement into your digestive system. You are ensuring that proteins are broken down effectively early in the process, long before they reach the colon. This results in stools that are not only softer because of the fiber and water in the fruit, but also intrinsically less heavy and easier to pass. It's a level of digestive optimization that most people completely overlook. In addition to papain, papaya is a rich source of vitamin C and vitamin A, two nutrients essential for tissue repair. Remember, your hemorrhoids are inflamed and sometimes damage tissue. Vitamin C is essential for the production of that same collagen we talked about earlier, the cement that strengthens the walls of your veins. Vitamin A, in turn, is crucial for the health of the mucous membranes, the inner lining of your digestive tract, including the affected area. Therefore, papaya offers a triple attack. It improves digestion to reduce strain, provides the building blocks to repair veins, and helps maintain the health of the protective lining of the area. It's a powerful natural synergy contained in a single fruit. How you consume it is equally important. To get the most benefit from the papain enzyme, it's best to eat a piece of papaya about 20 to 30 minutes before your main meals or as part of the meal itself. A generous slice, perhaps a quarter of a medium papaya, is a good place to start. Make sure the fruit is ripe, as this is when the concentration of enzymes and nutrients is at its peak. Now, it is my responsibility as a doctor to be thorough. So, a brief note of caution. Papain is a potent enzyme. People who have a known allergy to latex may sometimes experience a cross-sensitivity to papaya. This is something to keep in mind. In addition, if you are taking anticoagulant medications known as blood thinners, it is prudent to talk to your doctor before you start consuming large amounts of papaya on a regular basis, as the enzyme can, theoretically, enhance the effect of these medications. This is not to scare you, but to empower you with complete knowledge. Safety always comes first. The vast majority of people can consume papaya not only safely, but with enormous benefits. By combining the vascular strength of blueberries with the digestive efficiency of papaya, we are already building a much more robust strategy than simply adding bran to your diet. We are working with your body, not against it. And that sets us up for the number one food, the champion, the one that many think they know, but almost everyone uses incorrectly, missing its deepest benefit and sometimes even making the situation worse. We are about to reveal the secret to ultimate comfort. We have arrived at the number one food, the most powerful, the most misunderstood, and when used correctly, the most transformative for those who suffer from hemorrhoids. This is the ingredient that, in my clinical practice, has brought the most rapid and consistent relief to my patients. I'm talking about psyllium husk. I know what you may be thinking. Psyllium? Doctor, that's just another type of fiber. And that's where the fundamental mistake lies that keeps so many people stuck in the cycle of pain. The word fiber is as generic as the word vehicle. A scooter is a vehicle, and a cargo truck is also a vehicle, but they have drastically different functions. The same is true of fiber. When most people think of fiber for gut health, they think of insoluble fiber. It's the fiber found in many bran products, raw vegetables, and grain husks. Think of it as a broom or a rough sponge. It adds bulk and basically scrubs and pushes things through your gut. For some people, this works. But for someone with inflamed, sensitive, and painful hemorrhoids, running a rough broom through that area is the last thing you want. It can be irritating, abrasive, and cause even more discomfort. The magic of psyllium lies in the fact that it is composed almost entirely of soluble fiber. And soluble fiber behaves in a completely different way, and for us, much more beneficial way. Here's the analogy that will change your perspective forever. Imagine taking a spoonful of psyllium husk and mixing it into a glass of water. It doesn't just swell, it transforms. It creates a thick, soft, smooth, and viscous gel. Think of a soothing gel, almost like aloe vera, but for your insides. This gel does two miraculous things as it travels through your digestive system. First, it absorbs excess water in the colon and surrounds the stool, creating a single, soft, perfectly formed mass. It doesn't push, it slides. Passage becomes smooth, effortless, and friction-free. The straining that causes pressure and pain disappears. Second, and perhaps most importantly, that same gel coats the walls of your intestine and anal canal. It acts as a protective balm, a soft layer that passes over inflamed hemorrhoids, shielding them from any irritation. Instead of a rough broom, you have a soft, moving bandage that soothes the area with every bowel movement. It's the difference between rubbing sandpaper on a wound and applying a soothing ointment. I remember one patient, an engineer named Marco, who came to my office completely defeated. He was a methodical man and had tried everything. "Doctor, I eat 7-grain bread, I put wheat bran in my yogurt, I eat pounds of green leaves, I drink 3 liters of water a day, and every trip to the bathroom is a battle. The pain is excruciating." Marco's problem was too much insoluble, abrasive fiber. He was, with the best of intentions, further irritating the sensitive area. I instructed him to stop the wheat bran and introduce psyllium, but in the right way. And here's the practical guide that makes all the difference. The secret is to start slowly and with plenty of water. Start with just half a teaspoon of psyllium husk mixed vigorously in a large glass of water, at least 300 ml, and drink immediately before it thickens too much. Do this once a day. After a week, if everything is fine, you can increase to a whole teaspoon, always with a full glass of water. Never, ever take psyllium dry or with too little water. This can have the opposite effect and create a blockage. The key is hydration to form the gel. Marco followed the advice to the letter. A month later, he came back. I hardly recognized him. He was relaxed and smiling. He told me something I've never forgotten. "Doctor, it's like the war inside me is over. There's no more battle. Things just happen. No pain, no fear." That's the transformation that proper use of psyllium can bring about. So now we have the complete picture. We have blueberries and blackberries, strengthening the walls of the veins with their flavonoids. We have papaya, optimizing protein digestion with its papain enzyme and providing vitamins for repair. And we have psyllium, creating the perfect, smooth, soothing gel that makes bowel movements an act of relief, not pain. Together they form a synergistic and powerful system that tackles hemorrhoids from every angle: vascular, digestive, and mechanical. But I'm a practical doctor, and I know from listening to my patients for decades what you're probably thinking right now. "Doctor, that's all fantastic. The science makes perfect sense. But I have to remember to buy fresh blueberries every week, make sure the papaya is ripe, measure out the exact amount of psyllium, mix it with the right amount of water, and do all of this every day without fail?" It's a routine. It requires planning, discipline, and consistency, and life, as we all know, often gets in the way. A stressful day at work, a business trip, taking care of the family, and the routine is broken. 1 or 2 days are enough for the discomfort to start returning, and frustration sets in again. You feel like you're always one step away from dropping the ball. That gap between knowing what to do and being able to do it consistently is where many people fail, not because of a lack of willpower, but because of the complexity of everyday life. That's exactly why, as your health advisor, I feel that my responsibility goes beyond just giving you the pieces of the puzzle. I need to show you the safest and most direct path to putting that puzzle together. A truly effective and sustainable solution, in my professional opinion, needs to follow some clear principles. First, it needs to be synergistic, combining the right ingredients that not only add up but multiply their effects, strengthening your veins, optimizing digestion, and ensuring perfect bowel movements, all at the same time. Second, it needs to be precise, with the exact and clinically relevant dosages of each component, eliminating the risk of taking too much or too little. And third, and perhaps most important for real life, it needs to be simple and convenient, something that fits into your life without becoming another burden. With that in mind, I researched and evaluated countless approaches. To save you the work and risk of making mistakes, I want to point you in a direction that has already been validated and follows all of these principles. I've left a link in the description of this video, as well as in the first pinned comment, to a complete protocol that I consider the safest and smartest shortcut for anyone seeking real, lasting relief. Think of it not as just a product, but as my professional recommendation condensed into an integrated solution, so you no longer have to worry about putting all the pieces together yourself. It's the logical next step in your healing journey. The journey to getting rid of hemorrhoids isn't about finding a single magic food, but about adopting an integrated health philosophy. The pain you feel when you sit down isn't your fault. It's a messenger. It's your body communicating an imbalance that involves your circulatory system, your digestive system, and your daily habits. By understanding the functions of the foods we discussed today, the vascular power of dark fruits, the enzymatic efficiency of papaya, and the soothing softness of psyllium, you've already taken the most important step: knowledge. You now understand the why behind the what. You are no longer in the dark, just following generic advice. You are in control, armed with science and understanding. Always remember that your body has an innate ability to heal itself. It just needs the right tools and an environment that supports it. Every choice you make, every meal you eat, can be a step toward inflammation and pain, or a step toward calm and healing. The choice is yours, and now you know how to make the right choice. Pain doesn't have to be your identity. Fear doesn't have to dictate your days. Relief isn't just possible, it's the natural result of an intelligent, well-informed approach. Your journey to healing begins with the decision that you deserve to live without pain. You deserve to sit comfortably, live spontaneously, and go to the bathroom without anxiety. Believe in this possibility because it is real. The transformation that patients like Sophia and Marco experienced was not a miracle. It was the result of consistently applying the right knowledge, and you have that same potential within you. If this conversation has brought you clarity and hope, imagine how many other people are right now feeling the same pain, the same frustration, the same shame, suffering in silence. Do your part to break this cycle. Subscribe to the channel to continue this journey of learning and healing with me, and most importantly, share this video. Send it to a friend, a family member, someone you know who needs to hear this message of hope and logic. You could be the turning point in someone's life, the person who gave them the map to get out of suffering. Thank you for trusting me with your time and attention. Take care of yourself, respect the signs your body is giving you, and I'll see you in the next video.